So the video game news world has been churning over time, of course this being spurred on by GamesCom 2019, and there's definitely some cool stuff floating out there that I want to talk about. First off, I want to talk about Sega. It looks like Sega has sort of vindicated themselves after the Humankind debacle yesterday with two really cool announcements coming out to us from GamesCom 2019. We also got confirmation of a release date for Final Fantasy VIII Remastered that's going to have a lot of people very excited. Nintendo and Microsoft's partnership, is it coming to an end? And it looks like a Nintendo Direct is right around the corner as well. We got some new information coming out about that should definitely have Nintendo Switch owners very excited. So what did Sega do? What's going on with this partnership between Microsoft and Nintendo? And what is this Nintendo Direct information? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button, and let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my god, it's Stevie Richards! Alright, so let's kick things off with some Gamescom 2019 stuff, because there's been a lot of information that's been coming out of Gamescom 2019, but since it's taking place in Germany, a lot of US sites are kind of slow to report on this, but there's definitely some interesting stuff that has been happening, and just some really weird, bizarre stuff, like the whole Death Stranding peeing situation. I still can't believe we focused on peeing in this game and making it an actual facet of the gameplay, but hey, here we are, Kojima in 2019. But yesterday, Sega announced their big game that they were sort of teasing, and it was Humankind, a Civ-like game if you're a fan of, Age of Empires or Civilization. I don't know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love this style of game, but when you're talking about Sega, you don't really want Sega to be dropping a bomb like that. You want to talk about something else. I thought it was going to be a Knights or a Trauma Center or maybe even an Alien Isolation 2, but instead it was Humankind. But you know what? Sega actually did some stuff today that really restored my faith in them. The first thing was they showed off some new stuff from Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I already was on board with this game because Yoshi's on a skateboard. Like, that's really cool to me. I'm someone that loves skateboarding and skateboarding culture. I skateboarded for well over a decade, still push the wood from time to time. So to see Yoshi on a skateboard, I don't know, something about that just felt right. So I was definitely on board with this game. I think Olympic Games, especially when they're done in an over-the-top style, can be really fun just because of the great variety of different events. But today they showed off a really cool 2D mode for this game as well. There's going to be 10 events that will have a 2D aesthetic to them, where you have 2D character sprites instead of the 3D character models as well. And this to me just looks absolutely awesome. Like, this is definitely icing on the cake of this game. A lot of people are sleeping on this game, I feel, because it is an Olympics game, but I think this is going to be one of the sleeper hits of the Nintendo Switch when it drops in November. It looks really good. It looked good before this announcement, and I think this announcement just adds that much more to the game. I'm definitely looking forward to playing this game, and I think a lot of other people are going to be looking forward to playing this game as well. Don't sleep on it. This has a real potential to be a great game when it comes out in November. And Yakuza fans also got a big announcement as well. Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 are being remastered and brought over to the PlayStation 4, with Yakuza 3 stealth dropping today on the platform. It looks like they're also going to be doing a physical collection for this in 2020 as well, consisting of all the games in like a big box thing. And the Yakuza series is a fantastic series. I haven't played all of the games. I own some of them on the PS4. I played the original on the PS2 as well, but I always liked Yakuza. It's sort of a Grand Theft Auto meets Shenmue style game, and I always thought it really worked. It's kind of weird how it never got, massively popular in the West like I thought it would, but it's definitely a very underrated series, and to see all of these games available on one platform on the PlayStation 4 is definitely very cool. I think you guys should definitely check it out. If you've never checked out a Yakuza game, they're definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of GTA style or Shenmue style games. Definitely very cool stuff here. So good job, Sega. Thank you for rebounding from yesterday's Humankind presentation. Now we just have to sort of sit here and wonder what Capcom is doing. A lot of people are expecting Capcom to reveal something Resident Evil related at Gamescom, so it's definitely another thing to keep your eye on. Hopefully it's another remaster of a game. It could be Resident Evil 8, or it could be the heavily rumored Resident Evil Outbreak remaster, which I think would be really cool for online fans. All I know is Gamescom definitely has some stuff flowing out of it, and it's a good time. Another announcement made late last night was that the Final Fantasy VIII Remaster finally has a release date, and it's a hell of a lot sooner than you think it's going to be. This game will be available on the PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch on September 3rd, so a mere few days away, you'll be able to play the Final Fantasy VIII Remaster. It looks like this may be getting a physical version as well. Something popped up on Play Asia for a physical version of this game, but definitely a very cool little stealth announcement coming out of Gamescom from Square Enix about this game. I think a lot of people either really really love or hate this game, I actually really liked Final Fantasy VIII back in the day. I never finished it or anything, but I did have a good time playing the game, so I think it's going to be fun for me to revisit this game because, once again, like Final Fantasy VII, I haven't played this game in probably nearly 20 years, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out again. I'll be picking up the Switch version for the portability aspect of it, but definitely very cool to see Final Fantasy VIII coming out so soon. Moving right along, we got some interesting comments from a recent interview with Microsoft talking about the Nintendo Switch partnership. According to Microsoft, this partnership is pretty much wrapping up, and this is all we're going to see from this partnership, and a lot of people are kind of confused by that. And really, those sentiments to me are one thing: bullshit. I mean, let's be honest here, folks. Look at the amount of Xbox One games that have already come to the Nintendo Switch. You have Cuphead, you have Super Lucky's Tale, and now you have Ori and the Blind Forest, which was just announced during Nintendo's Indie World promotion. So all of a sudden, now this partnership is over. You also have Banjo-Kazooie coming to Smash Brothers. But no, now we're done, now we're moving on. Like, come on, people. This is just standard PR talk. A lot of people are confused by this statement, but you really shouldn't be. This is just one company that's saying something because they don't have anything to announce. Microsoft really wants to put their games on as many platforms as possible. That's why they included things like Xbox Game Pass for the PC. That's why something like Xbox Game Pass exists. They really want to sort of expand their brand, and doing it in this manner has actually been very smart for them so far. I think Cuphead sold very well on the Nintendo Switch. I think Super Lucky's Tale is going to sell better on the Switch than it did on the Xbox One because it's sort of a game that fits the model of the Nintendo Switch. So to think that this Microsoft and Nintendo partnership is over now, all because of one interview a Microsoft representative said that, is just foolish to me. They're just doing PR talk. I don't know what to expect next. I think Rare Replay could end up being on the Nintendo Switch if an upcoming announcement ends up happening, but definitely take this as a grain of salt because the Microsoft and Nintendo partnership is very, very far from over. And the final bit of news that we have involves a Nintendo Direct potentially coming very, very soon. Now, of course, there is one train of thought when it comes to this, and that is simply a timing manner. Whenever you look at how Nintendo does their indie presentations, usually about 2 to 4 weeks later, a Nintendo Direct drops. You can go on Wikipedia and look up Nintendo Directs and clearly see a timeline of this. A lot of times they do an indie presentation in October, and then in September, they do a full-on Nintendo Direct. And looking back at Nintendo's history, they do a lot of Nintendo Directs in the month of September, but really that's just sort of circumstantial evidence. I don't think that's enough to talk about in a video, but now we have a new log on this fire, a log that is stroking the flames and making this fire burn out of control because GameStop has stepped into the picture. Now this information is coming to us from a YouTuber by the name of Papagenos. Now admittedly, I was not familiar with Papagenos before making this video. He's sitting at about 27,000 subscribers. I will have a link to his video in the description box down below. Make sure you go check out his video after this one and go show him some love and tell him that RGT sent you. But Papagenos got some very interesting information sent to him involving GameStop. GameStop has recently updated their systems to include 12 new SKUs for the Nintendo Switch. Now, why would GameStop be adding new SKUs to the Nintendo Switch library of games that are unavailable SKUs that you don't have any information on? Because there's probably a Nintendo Direct coming very, very soon. It just makes sense. Nintendo obviously will want to talk about their holiday 2019 lineup, and I still think there's going to be some surprises in this lineup. Maybe not necessarily from Nintendo themselves, but from third-party companies, because now all of a sudden, third-party companies are jumping with joy for the Nintendo Switch and trying to put everything they can on the system due to the success of the system and system sales. So when you look at the timeline of things, chronologically, it makes sense. With GameStop now adding in 12 additional SKUs into their Nintendo Switch database, it just really makes a lot of sense. Now, as far as what this Nintendo Direct will contain, I don't know. I haven't really heard any sort of rumors or leaks about this Nintendo Direct. If I do, I'll probably make a video on it because it's always fun to talk about it, but definitely something to keep on your radar. I think more than likely you're going to see a Nintendo Direct in the month of September. It could end up happening at the beginning of the month, so it's definitely something to keep on your radar. You already have all these games coming out for the month of September. Why not keep the momentum rolling if you're Nintendo and talk about what's coming up in the immediate future and then in 2020 with yet another Nintendo Direct? Alright, so those are a few news stories that I wanted to talk about because I found them very interesting. So let me know in the comments section down below if you feel that Sega has managed to save face with these two announcements from today. Do you think the 2D mode for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games looks cool? And what do you think of the Yakuza collection? Do you think that the Microsoft and Nintendo partnership is coming to an end, or are you in my camp and you think it's absolute bullshit? Will you be picking up Final Fantasy VIII when it comes out on September 3rd? And do you expect a Nintendo Direct in the month of September? And if so, what would you like to see at this event? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out other videos on the channel. Be sure to check out the description box and check out all of my social media. Make sure you're following me on Facebook and Twitter so you can get all the latest updates. Mitch, do you have anything to add to this video? No! Alright, buddy, thanks. You've been a valuable asset to this channel. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.